Most people think you need a Hollywood budget, a fancy camera, and shitloads of experience to make a cinematic film. That's some bullshit. Look at this shot. Same location, same moment. One looks like it's from a Netflix film, and the other looks like a home video. Difference is not the gear, it's how you think about it. Today I'm going to be breaking it down step by step so that you can make insanely cinematic films right now with the gear that you've got. My name's James, welcome to my channel. I'm a 21-year-old content creator. Chapter 1. Story. If your story is weak, your film is weak. Finished. End of story. Cameras don't make people feel anything. Stories do. The best filmmakers, Scorsese, Tarantino, the Coen brothers, Bong Joon-ho, all these fabulous directors, there's a reason that they fixate on one thing. Structure. Most stories, most films can be split into a pretty simple structure, the 3-arc structure. It is the pinnacle of all storytelling from the dawn of time. 1. Setup. We meet the protagonist, the character. We see what their problems are. Number 2. The conflict. The stakes are rising, the tension's building, the water is starting to bubble, is boiling. And finally, number 3, the payoff. This is where everything in your story finally seems worth it. This is where the character gets his big break. This is where Andy's tunnel that he's been doing for 19 years and it's red following him out. This is Patrick Bateman not getting caught. This is Edward Norton realizing he is Tyler Durden. The payoff. The payoff can be good, it can be bad, but it needs to culminate all of those feelings that have come from the past 2 structures into the final structure. Even if you're just making a 1-minute short film, story is the pinnacle that will thread everything together. A guy misses his train, but he finds love. A kid losing his kite, but then he finds something crazy in the woods. Someone walking home in the rain, revealing a hidden truth. If you can master this, everything else will click, I promise you. Storytelling is up on the top of the list because it is the key thing that will separate you and your film from everyone else. Chapter 2. Shoot like a pro. You don't need a cinema camera. You don't need a Red, you don't need a Venice, you don't need an A7 IV, S3, FX3, you don't need anything. You can use a phone in your pocket. Now there's a lot more to camera understanding and shooting camera stuff, and I really urge you to go check out some of these videos. These guys are great at breaking down some of the most basic, fundamental, cinematic shooting techniques. They're mainly talking about composition. Rule of thirds. Off-center shots feel more cinematic. Leading lines. Draw the subject's eyes in with lines, pointing the viewer to exactly what you want them to see. Depth. It's not just bokeh. It's not just background blur. Depth is so much more than just bokeh. It's about contrast. It's about foreground, midground, and background separation, which you do through mise-en-scene and all the fancy little things that you set up. Think about your shots. Think about the depth you're creating. Have 3 layers, or have 2 layers, or have 1 layer, but make sure you're understanding your depth and what you're trying to achieve with your depth. Now let's talk camera movement. To move the camera, or to not move the camera? That is the question. I hate camera movement. I don't hate camera movement. I love camera movement, but camera movement has become seriously overused. There's a lot of crazy gimbal moves that make no sense. Movement needs to add something. And as Roger Deakins says, guys, don't move the camera for the sake of moving the camera. It doesn't make it immediately more cinematic. Movement can make it more cinematic if it pushes your story forward. A slow push in makes this moment feel important. It makes it have suspense. A handheld, shaky shot can immerse you right in the action. Every moment should have a purpose. So don't just move the camera for the sake of moving the camera. Sometimes a locked off shot That's all you need. Look at Wes Anderson. The guy never moves his camera. They're all locked off. Everything's locked off, and it's great. Most films are shot handheld, or on dollies, or on sticks. They're not shot on gimbals. Save yourself some money, buy some nice lenses, buy some lights. Alright? Focus on your storytelling. Don't worry about gimbal. You can get really nice handheld movements. Composition also involves lighting. Lighting is the source. Lighting will change everything. Cameras operate on light. Take the light into the sensor, it bounces around, does cool stuff. That's how it works. The lens is about light, the sensor is about light, everything is about controlling the amount of light being let in. It's all about light. So if you can control your light outside of the camera, you're off to a great start. Nice side light for my face, leaving a little bit in dark, filling that in with the top bounce light, the fill light, kicker, a little bit extra texture. That, just for your visual satisfaction. And this is also just in case you get bored, attention spans and all that. I should put Subway Surfers on there, man. Lighting is key. Lighting will change your whole life. Invest in lights, invest in lenses. Don't invest in cameras. And don't invest in gimbals, please. So you don't need fancy lights. You can use lamps, windows, but use what you have at your disposal to light your scene, and watch some of these videos to help you understand lighting better. Chapter 3. Editing. Editing is another fundamental part of this entire process. Shooting is just half the battle. Editing is where the magic happens. This is where everything comes together beautifully, like a nice gourmet dish of ingredients all put into a mixing pot to create a beautiful, delectable meal for your viewers' consumption.
What?
Step 1, cut fast. Seriously, if it doesn't serve the story, kill it. Get rid of the shot. Do not be precious about shots. Just because you like the shot doesn't mean it deserves to be in the film. Each shot needs to earn its place in your story. If it doesn't move your story on, get rid of it. Step 2, color is emotion. Warm tones feel nostalgic, happy, yummy. Blue tones are cold. Match your colors to your story and the emotions you're trying to pull through. Step 3, sound design is everything. A professional film is not a professional film without beautiful, intricate, perfectly placed, layered sound design. It's not what you see, it's what you hear. Watch this.
That's just more interesting, innit?
Feel the difference. Sound adds emotion. It puts you as the viewer right there where you need to be. Chapter 5. The secret sauce. Here's what separates a good film from a great film. It's the invisible stuff. Number 1, pacing. A slow moment right before action makes the action hit harder. Pause, then hit. 2, emotion. Every single shot should make the audience feel something. Every frame should create and invoke some sort of emotion from the audience. If you can get their emotions involved, you're hooking them in to your story. They're invested. Number 3, music choice. The wrong track can ruin a scene. Choose wisely. It's these little details that make films stick and stay with people forever. You don't need Hollywood for that. You just need intention. Forget film school. Forget asking for permission. Forget waiting for the right time, the right gear, the right things, and the right situations. I started with nothing. No money, no connections, no idea of what I was doing, no understanding of cameras, no understanding of light. I just was shooting stuff for fun. Little Lego videos at home, all the way up to mountain bike edits, to now I work full time, and I've been doing that and I get paid and this is my job. So look, you can do this too, and it's about the first step. Now go, pick up your camera, whatever it is, and shoot some man. I really appreciate you watching this video. Thank you so much, guys. If you did like it, I would really appreciate a like, comment, let me know what you thought, and share around if you can. See you next one.